Last week may have been the worst dog of the night call that I've ever tried to make on Juliana Miller, as it seemed like she wanted out of there 2 minutes within that matchup. I'm not sure if she had a bad weight cut or if she just didn't really feel like fighting at all. But good Lord, did she look bad in that matchup. She didn't go for as many takedowns as I expected her to, and ultimately Luana Santos was able to just do what she wanted on the feet and easily get Juliana Miller out of there. So that drops our dog of the night record now on a bit of a slump right now to 36-51 for plus 1.65 units and a 2% ROI. Still in the green ever so slightly, but we need to do better than that, and hopefully this weekend we can turn that around and cash some dogs for you guys. Obviously, on this segment, we got the top 3 dog of the night candidates, in my opinion. But before I get into that, I want to quickly plug the MMA Fight Archive, as I always do. We're just about to eclipse that 50 patron mark, so I appreciate everybody that supported it to this point. We've crossed that 2,000 fighter profile mark, which took us so long to do, but I'm very happy, and 3,000 is up next. I can't wait to eclipse that milestone as well. If you're looking for direct links to study up on these upcoming Contender Series fights, or KSW, PFL, LFA, ACA, KS, I think I said KSW already, all the major regional promotions, we got you covered on the MMA Fight Archive. There's a reason the top cappers in the space use this service, as well as a lot of the top professionals within the industry, whether it's coaches, commentators, or even fighters themselves. Check out why the MMA Fight Archive is going to be soon the largest database in the world of direct links to past fights. 7-day free trial available for you. Link in the description below. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into the top 3 dog of the night candidates for you guys. First of which, I believe it's going to end up being the first fight of the night, but Marina Morose coming in at plus 130. I believe that she is the rightful side here against Karine Silva. Now, this is a rematch of a fight that took place 9 years ago, where Marina Morose was able to pull off an armbar victory, and that notched her chances and shot to get into the UFC, which she ended up doing a couple months later. Morose is very active in terms of her striking game, and she does a great job in terms of establishing her range from distance, but she also has some chops on the mat, which she showcased during the 3-fight winning streak she had before she ended up getting it snapped by Jennifer Maia last time around. But I think that Morose still has a lot to offer here. Karine Silva, nothing really on the feet. She throws pot shots and rangefinders, but she really wants to take fights to the ground where she can look for submission victories. However, even though she got submitted 9 years ago, and I'm sure she's made some improvements to this point in time, I think she's going to struggle to try to get any type of success off on Morose from that top position this time around. Of course, she's a brown belt now compared to the blue belt she probably was 9 years ago, but Morose has been getting better as well, and I think that her defensive grappling game is going to be good enough to keep her out of trouble, keep this fight in the standing realm, where she'll be able to be the better striker, get off better damage, and even more volume. So give me Marina Morose as the first dog of the night candidate for UFC 292. Second dog of the night candidate, and we're going to go with a pretty big dog here, and Chris Weidman at plus 225. Now, he's returning after 2 years after having his leg snapped, and it seems like he's more than ready to go. Looks in phenomenal shape as well, but we know what we can guarantee with him is he's going to come in with a grapple-heavy approach, and anybody that's been looking to take Brad Tavares down has been able to do so. We saw him have a little bit of a close fight with Omari Akhmedov, but we know that Weidman still has the capabilities of going out there and putting a wrestling pressure on his opponents. Brad Tavares, not known to be much of a knockout puncher, and so even if people have some qualms about Chris Weidman's chin, which has been a little bit of a debate over the last several years, he hasn't been knocked out in close to 4 years at this point in time, and the last time he was knocked out was against Dominic Reyes up a weight class. Now with him being back at middleweight and going up against a guy who only has 2 knockout victories over his 22 UFC fights, and the last one being over 5 years ago against Krzysztof Jotko, I feel like Weidman can do a good enough job in terms of mixing it up with the clinch, mixing it up with the takedowns, getting enough control time, and getting his hand raised by decision. Plus 225, I think you can do much worse in this spot, considering you got a very strong wrestler here in Chris Weidman, who's still capable of beating guys like the Brad Tavares level, in my opinion. So Chris Weidman will be the second dog of the night candidate. The final dog of the night candidate is actually going to be a total, and it's going to be the over 4.5 in the Sean O'Malley and Aljamain Sterling fight. And if it goes over 4.5, that means that I likely think Aljamain Sterling wins, which is what I think is going to happen here. I think we'll see Sterling utilize his grapple-heavy approach very effectively, and that will shut down the game of Sean O'Malley. That's obviously been the flaw in O'Malley's game over the last several years, but I think he's done a good enough job in terms of nullifying how much success his opponents can have when they get him on the ground. So I don't think we'll see Sterling pull off a submission or anything like that, but I think that we'll see Sterling ride the back, get some dominant positions, and get a bunch of control time. And win this fight by decision. So taking the over 4.5 at plus 160, not too bad either, which is why that's going to be my third and final dog of the night candidate. If you want to find out which dog of the night I ended up going with, check the link in the description below for my personal Patreon page, the Lock of the Night Patreon page. That's where you'll be able to see it posted and who I ended up going with, and we can see if we can better the record that I talked about at the top of the show. Appreciate all the love and support as always, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the Locky Two-Step. See you guys then.